everyone. Welcome to another episode of Testimony Thursday. And today we have Suzanne Scully joining us, a longtime parishioner and a lector. Before you started getting involved with St Anthony's and you started on a journey towards God, what was your life before that?
Right. Yeah, definitely. So for me, I was not raised with any religion whatsoever, right? So I knew my late teens, early 20s and everything, going through a lot of different hardship, lots of different, everyone was just like trying to take from you and really stab you down. And I'm like, there's got to be something more than what's going on here. And then eventually I met the Scully family with my husband now, Simon. And I remember his father, Terry, he used to talk to me in the evenings about Jesus and his journey, right? And it was just so beautiful because it was done in such a way that it wasn't preachy. It was just a journey of a gentleman that just had so much impact, right? And really drew me in. So I was actually baptized at the Easter of 1999, right? So yes, 21 years this year, right? Crazy. But after Terry passed away in 2011, really we went through some changes in our family again and really getting lost. And then Father Justin came to St Anthony's and he came along with the CCOs. He brought the CCOs here to St Anthony's in the faith study program. And through that, just understanding that this was where I was meant to be. This was more of a calling than anything. And then what was so cool was that not too sure where I was still supposed to be leaving that after the faith studies. And then actually last Christmas, so December 2018, I remember somebody asked me to study the resurrection. And I'm like, study the resurrection? That doesn't, so I would sit there and I would sit in the church and I would sit there and just ponder and I would look at him and I'm just like, what, Jesus, what are you wanting to tell me? And I was getting frustrated about this because I didn't know what, right? And I just had to really submit to that and continue that on. And then last summer, so like 7 months later, I wasn't even at this parish. I was at a different parish. And I was sitting there praying before Mass started. And Jesus spoke to me and he literally said, I died on this cross for you. What are you doing for me? And ever since then, I made a promise that I would spend the rest of my life bringing people to him.
That's beautiful. Thank you for your yes. That's a really beautiful thing. And the fact that happened and Jesus spoke to you so personally. Yeah. And you want that to happen for other people. That's really great. And thank you for that. Really, thank you for that. Yeah. Oh, wow. And this calling you felt with Jesus, do you find it hard to share with other people?
No, I for quite a long time I was even at the time I was teaching the faith studies here at St Anthony. But I really had to evaluate what I was doing because I do have mentors in my life as well. And what I do understand is I was heavily involved in the school. I was heavily involved in the parish. I have work. I have 4 children myself, right? So what I really had to do was understand that I needed to streamline what I was doing so that I could showcase Jesus better. Does that make sense? So I work, I have our children, and moving our future forward. And that's what I've had to do. So Father Justin and I have had conversations now. And I say to him all the time, I said, Father, I said, you're not having a problem with your parishioners, with the people that have made it to you. I now go out and I make it to the people that haven't made it to him yet. So I spend more of my time going to people that haven't made it here to a church, right? So I'll go to the mall, I will go to the parks and just really engage with people and then hear their stories. And because I'm now working in my passion zone. Trust me, it comes up a lot. And even to the point that I've sat in a nail salon before, and the lady will be engaging me in a conversation, and so my passion will come out, and I will stop and I'll look, and the whole row is listening to me, and I have to apologize, and I say, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, I don't mean to be preaching. They're like, no, we love it, right? And it's so because you're now allowing yourself to work in your passion zone where you can showcase him so much more. Oh my goodness, it's where I want to be.
That's so powerful. I don't know if you know that, but that is a great gift to have, and that's definitely a God-given gift.
Yeah.
And you were mentioning that CCO when the impactors came, and that really influenced you a lot. Is there something specific in the faith studies?
Yeah, I do remember. I remember it was either source or growth, and I remember sitting there because I came to the CCO, the faith studies. It was just another event here at St. Anthony, good food, good fellowship, right?
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there, source, growth, and I remember discerning over these questions, and I'm like, this is life altering. Like, oh my goodness. And I think that it was at that time that I really understood that Simon, my husband, was never going to be able to complete me, that he was a gift that God gave me, that I needed to be able to release him from any stronghold that he was going to complete me, and to invest in God more and put God above him.
Yeah.
So, huge change.
That's really beautiful. When did you find that, and how did that affect your relationship with your husband?
If anything, it grew our relationship so much more because it released him from that pressure. Yeah. That that he was, that it was no more nagging and me looking at the negative that he's doing and everything. And I really chose to take ownership of that. What is my husband doing right? He's a gift that God has given me. What is he doing right? And focus on what he's doing right, because we're all imperfect. And the more I focus on what he's doing right, the more everything just falls into peace. And we give each other the grace that we both need to be able to grow in our journeys. Yeah. And
that's really beautiful. And having that relationship, especially with your husband, and having God so centered in that relationship is really beautiful. Is there anything, like any advice or anything that really strengthened your faith journey to keep you consistent in having a relationship with God?
Yeah, so for me is after the CCOs, after they left, still searching, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do now, right? Because they, like so many different places, they'll have these different courses, they'll have seminars and everything, but every single one of them was taking me away from where my main purpose I really wanted to be able to do. So I took it upon myself and I just started studying the different saints and everything. So I have a couple different here, and I just want to go through quickly with you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So from Saint Gianna Molla, she taught me how to be a wife, a mother, and have a career. From Mother Teresa, we're reading one of her books, and she really talked about the struggle and how she never saw Jesus as she was going through this pursuit and everything. And she used to say all the time to herself, and I say this to myself constantly all day long, Jesus in my heart, I believe in your tender love for me. I love you. And so many times when I'm going through the day and finding different things, just reminding myself this, putting him right there at the center, and that's a good way for me to be able to keep him the center, right? So St. John Paul II, he brought me closer to the Divine Mercy, right? And St. Louis de Montfort, the importance of daily rosary and finding comfort within that, right? And then this last one was really profound to me, and it just happened just recently. So as this pandemic actually started, I was reading a book in the Adoration Chapel from Bishop Fulton Sheen. And it said, but once dependence on God is lost, then the state takes over, and the attributes of the divinity and being material in structure crushes the last vestige of the human spirit. And I'm just like, what timing is that? And to me, that really put this whole pandemic into perspective, that this is almost like a timeout that we've been given, that we need to put him at the center of our life, really prioritize where our life is, make sure he's there strong, rooted at the center. Yes, I understand we need to take the precautions in everything that is happening around us here, but it's all material things. And we really need to, even with the struggles, with the anxious, with everything that we're having with all of this, we need to turn to Jesus, because he's the one that's going to be able to give us that peace that we need to be able to walk through this so much more. So those were just a couple that I had.
Oh, that's amazing. And I think the saints are really inspiring, and we should definitely take that to account, because we sometimes forget they're normal people like you and I, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to ask, this is super not scripted or anything, but
it's all good.
You really love outreach, and I could see that, and you have a lot of passion for it. And during this pandemic, it's a little difficult. So what have you been doing to really...
I am reaching out to... I would say that I've reached out to anywhere between 3 and 5 people every single day that are on my phone. Hey, I know you from here. Hey, I met you here. St. Anthony people. Just, how are you doing this pandemic?
Yeah.
Is there anything I can do to help you? Right? And just really reconnecting. And then some that I have a closer bond with is saying, let's reconnect. FaceTime, WhatsApp, Zoom, whatever works for you. And just because I don't know, and just really gauging with what people are saying, just keeping that connection, meeting, and really serving them. Because it's a different mindset altogether, because we're living in a society so much that we've had to take care of ourselves, and we're very and it's so different when you turn and you serve, and your whole purpose is to serve his children. It's such a different, but so many people I know, they chase after $1 every single day, and I chase after my time, so I can invest it back into other people. And it's so different, and it's only once I made that switch that I've been able to really start walking more in peace. And if I could talk to you many stories, and I can't even tell you the amount of people that will walk up to me and they say, I really don't understand how you're doing this. You've got 4 children. At one point they were in 3 different schools. I did over 100 hours of volunteer time.
Oh my.
I'm working, I'm running a business, plus all my kids were in activities. And they're like, I don't get it. And that's when I ran everything. And that's my way that I was trying to glorify him, because there was no human possible way that I could do all of that. But now that I have streamlined, so now I have my family, my work, and our business. Now those are the 3, because our business is what's going to take us into the future. I can showcase him so much more, because my passion can come out so much more. So
that's beautiful. That's so inspiring. Oh my goodness. That's really inspiring.
Yeah.
And just I guess a final thing. Do you have any advice to people that are starting off in their faith journey?
Yeah. Right. The one thing, and this is why I love teaching discovery, because discovery is where you're able to look a person in the eye and say to them, Jesus loves you exactly where you are, and he's waiting for you, but he wants you to come to him with your own free will. Nobody else can want it for you, and it's time to start pursuing who he created you to be.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm tearing up a little bit. I want to thank you for saying your yes and being vulnerable and sharing your testimony, because I even found this testimony especially powerful for me, because it really related to what's happening in this pandemic, and being so involved in CCO, I feel what you're feeling, and that we have similar passions. So I want to thank you for being such a Christ-like figure in other people's lives. And
this is my honor, truly, because this is where anytime that I'm able to show my passion, oh my goodness.
Amazing. Never stop. Like, really never stop. because it's a beautiful thing, and I already know people watching this will gain so much fruit from this conversation. So this will be the third episode of Testimony Thursday. I hope you'll join us next week. Goodbye. God bless.
Bye.